Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending our LaunchWorks first quarter release webinar. We're going to get started now. Anyone who comes in a little bit late, there will be a recording. We are recording this, so there will be a recording on our website, and we'll be sending that out as well after later today. Again, thank you very much for attending today, taking the time out of your day. For today's agenda, we have just welcoming introductions by myself, Bill Stack. Chris Mayer will be going through our first quarter release update. We also will be going over our new account management playbook, and that'll be followed by questions and answers, as well as some deliverables that we're going to have for the first quarter for our release for the second quarter, as well as a wrap-up. Again, my name is Bill Stack. I am the Business Development Manager here at LaunchWorks. I started back in October and have been, getting up to speed with everything that we do and getting to introduce myself to some customers over the last few months. But very excited to be here and very excited to talk to you guys today. And then we have Chris.
Hey, thank you, Bill. My name is Chris Mayer. I'm a manager of customer support. I also do project implementations as well as system configurations and design. I do recognize some of the names on the call, so if you guys have done a project with us, I've probably interacted with you at some point. I've been with LaunchWorks about 5 years now, and really looking forward to the things that we're going to be doing in 2017.
So we wanted to start off the call with our account management playbook. It's going to be different on a different type of support layer that we're going to be offering our customers this year and going forward. What it really boils down to is that you're going to have assigned account manager or managers to you and your team pretty much on call 24/7. It's just an additional support resource, fairly non-technical for certain things, because you still have your technical support that you've been working with, for the last, as long as you've been customers. But this is just a different layer. It's more of a consultation type of role, as well as, billing answers, billing questions, things like that. One other piece of the account manager's role is really going to be kind of security and compliance consulting. We deal with a lot of different customers, and we see, different tactics and different strategies, and really understand how customers need to comply with the ever-changing regulations that are imposed, as well as understanding the security needs from both an infrastructure and an application standpoint. And part of what we want to do and why we want to roll this out is to have quarterly business reviews to really ensure an open line of communication between ourselves and our customers. What we've found is that customers have had gaps in their processes, been looking for a solution, and they've been completely unaware that not only do we have the capabilities here at LaunchWorks, but the solution that they're currently using, the product that they're currently using, has the capabilities to improve their process and close that gap. So, adding that line of communication, understanding your business is really important so that we know that you're fully utilizing everything that you're paying for. And that's what it really boils down to. So, that's kind of the plan for 2017 for account management. Myself and Kevin Shaughnessy will be your account managers. So be on the lookout if you haven't already seen communication from us in regards to setting up some calls. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Bill. So what we're going to get into now are some of the releases some of the updates that we have for the first quarter of 2017. Generally, each quarter we try to add a little bit of product hardening as well as some new functionality to our code base and our launch portal stack each quarter to just continually grow our product. The first piece that we did in terms of product hardening was to write an HTML5 document viewer. Previously, this was written in Flash, which has since been deprecated, and we are now we now have an HTML5 document viewer. So what does that mean? What that does is it really means that we now have a browser agnostic document viewer. There are really no browsers at this point that aren't supported. So we do support Chrome, Internet Explorer, Firefox, Opera, Safari. All the current functionality is still supported, just looks slightly different, but we were able to deprecate Flash. The next thing that we've added is, the next two things that we've added are going to be some enhanced functionality. The first one is an interactive grid viewer. With this, we're really going to give the end users just more slice and dice capability of what to do with that data once they get that back from the report. We'll also give people the ability to kind of twist and tweak the columns that are in the report by adding and removing fields on the fly. And then once, again, that data set comes back to you, we'll be able to sort, resort, filter, group. You guys will see it here in a second. But just really give users full capability, like I said, to twist and tweak that data as desired. The next functionality we have is in-session report creation. As we kind of went and talked to some of our customers, one of the bigger pain points was incomplete reports. And what I mean by incomplete reports are, if I have an individual report that has 6 or 7 different metrics in it, but I just want one more metric added, let's say I needed to add a week variable or a month variable or a product variable, the cycle time on that can generally get pretty long. I need to submit a design ticket, turn this over to my report development team, the report gets written, goes through QA, et cetera, et cetera. What we've done is we've given users the ability to add fields, create new reports on the fly based off the business object security that they have. So we can give them access to a universe, and then straight from the LaunchWorks report viewer, they can go in, pop up that universe, grab the metrics that they want, and then process those reports right in screen. So let's go take a look at some of the topics that we've been discussing. The first thing that we'll see once we get into the portal is going to be our HTML5 document viewer. Now, again, not a lot of functionality has changed in here. We've really just hardened this, made this browser compatible with, as hardware kind of expands and people move to Macs or different browsers, right, get out of IE. We really just wanted to make this as functional and easy as possible. This looks a lot like the report list. We basically use the same logic. We go into the repository, we pull the document folders that you have access to, and then present the documents to you. We still support all the same formats in terms of PDF, XLS, XLSX, even text documents. And we also still support our archiving function, or a way to hold versions of historical documents that users need access to. This way your screen's really not cluttered with 6 or 7 different versions of an individual document, but they do still have access to these on the fly. The next thing that we wanted to talk about was some of the new value adds that we had. And the first thing I'd like to talk about is our new interactive grid viewer. For those of you familiar with our product, the report list really looks the same. The first thing you're going to notice is that our prompt screen and our report submission screen is going to look a little different. What we do here is the first level of access that we give you to twist this data will be the columns and the sorting. Now, we pull the individual column information out of the report and provide this to you before we submit. So in this report that I have a year value, a month value, city and sales revenue value. I can submit as many or as few of these as I want, to where if I have a shared report that I have with 2 or 3 or 5 other analysts, that's kind of all combined for everything we need, I no longer have to run that report, export it out to Excel, and then clean out the stuff I don't want. Prior to report submission, I can just say, hey, please don't give me month, please don't give me city, and then go from there. Sort preferences as well. We have the ability to sort on multiple levels, year, city, month, basically any other column that's in there. I'm going to leave this at year for right now so that we can see kind of the raw data and twist that once we get into the viewer, but we will go from there. Prompt interaction is really the same as it was, right? We still support free text, select LOVs, multi-select LOVs, right? Everything that really business object supports, we still fully support. The main difference you're going to see is once we get our data returned to us. So I'm just run this report real quick and get my data back. Now this viewer is going to look a bit different to those of you familiar with the product. We still have, again, all the same functionality in terms of exporting out to all supported business objects formats, PDF, Excel, CSV, XLSX, XLS. We even offer a few versions that Business Objects doesn't in terms of Word, text.txt files if you need those for any reason, as well as PowerPoint. We also added the functionality to offer how many rows per page that we get based off how you guys need to use pagination. But the overall, the biggest functionality of this is, again, our interactive grid viewer. So we access this by hitting the edit button here. And then this is going to bring me to the advanced options that I have. Now we have 4 main options here. We have sorting abilities, grouping abilities, filtering abilities, and then column selection. Column selection is simple enough, right? Let's say I'm not interested in month, right? So let's get month out of here, and then I just filter this data as easy as just a couple clicks. We can do this once the data is returned, or we can do this once the data is submitted, as you guys saw on the previous screen. So I'll add that back in. The next one that we have is our sorting functionality. This is the advanced sorting, and this is how we want to, present this data to ourselves. We can do this up to 3 individual levels. So let's say I wanted to start with city, filter this out by Austin. Then I want to do this by month. I can filter this out as well. And you guys can see the possibilities are really endless. We have a pretty basic report right here in terms of the data that we're showing, but you guys can imagine the possibilities, right, with some of the real life reports once we have, 6, 7, sometimes, 20 individual fields in here, how easy it is to really kind of twist and tweak this data. The next thing that we have is grouping. And for those of you that are familiar with with report design and Business Objects, this is kind of like adding breaks, right? So let's say that I want to put an individual year value in here and break this out. This will now group my individual data by year or city. Maybe I want to do year and city and apply this data as well. And this really just continues to create these smaller and smaller breaks so that I can take action on this data. One of the other things we found talking to our customers is so much time is spent on designing reports, picking formats, picking layouts, and just actually trying to get the data back. What we're trying to do is facilitate letting users take action on the data, right? Let's stop focusing on just getting this data back, and then let's focus on making decisions based off this data. So the faster and faster that we can provide this data in these different groups, in these different formats, much more beneficial to the end user. Again, we support all the functionality that our old version did or Interactive Viewer would, as well as all the added functionality in terms of sorting, grouping, etc. So I'm just going to clear these out, and we will also talk about filtering. Filtering, again, is pretty self-explanatory. Okay, I want to add a filter here. Again, for those of you who are familiar with report design, this is almost like adding a prompt on the fly. So I want to filter month, where month is equal to, let's say, month 2, and apply this value. It automatically sorts this information for me here, and I can resort or refilter as I need to, right? Let's get that back out of there. Pick a new month. Right, and now I'm provided just with Austin, just for the month of June. So all kinds of different options here. The next thing that we've added to our launch portal is the ability to run or create reports on the fly in session. So the example I like to use with this one is I have year, I have city, I have my sales revenue and my month, but I'm missing this week field. That's the information that I would like in here. So instead of having to go through submitting a ticket, sending this off to the report development team, for end users now, this is going to be as easy as clicking on my new report link here, which is just turned on in the top left-hand corner of your screen. 1 second. My universes are not pulling up here at some point for some reason, as they did this morning. But let me just see if I can talk through this for a second. So based off the business object security of the end user, based off the rights that they have to connections, the right that they have to universes, from this screen, the users will be able to pull an individual universe. Once they hit the individual universe, they'll provide it with a very simple click-through screen that will allow them to select any individual metric, measure, and add those fields to that report. Now, it is a bit of a boiled down report creation screen in terms of we can't create measures on the fly or create filters like we can in Webby Designer, right? But in terms of very fast, very quick, I need these 6 fields in my report. We do provide that information here. I do apologize why my universes are not popping up. Let me see if I can sort this out. Give me just a couple seconds. Okay. I'm going to use another application. For some reason, I'm just not connecting to my universes now. But this is still the flow that we'll go through. For the user that I have now, I do have access to 4 individual universes. Everybody familiar with business objects should be familiar with the eFashion universe. We also have an auditing universe and a trend universe. But I'm going to pick the eFashion universe because that's what we were using earlier. I will create my report name. So I need this. So this was my sales report plus weeks. So again, this, for those of you familiar with the Webby Designer, this should look pretty familiar, right? This is going to be the left-hand side of your design screen. So I'm going to select my time. I'm going to expand my time period, and I'm going to take week and year and month. And here's where I want to add week. I also want to add some of my measures in here. And I'm going to say, you know what, please give me sales revenue as well as quantity sold. So at this point, with just a couple of clicks of the mouse, 7, 8 clicks, I press create. And this is going to go out and run this report for me. Now, this will create and save this report in the My Reports folder of the end user. So we don't have any real worries about individual users sharing reports or having 67 new reports drop on the report list screen. These are created, these are saved in the My Reports section for each individual user. And then based off how we configure the system, we can actually show those reports to the end user, just that user, on the report list screen. So as you guys see, I now have year, month, week, sales revenue, and quantity sold in just a matter of 30 seconds. Which in some cases, for some companies, based off of ticket queues and cycle times and testing, could take up to a couple days. So we're really proud of this new functionality. Those are the 3 biggest things that we are presenting or that we've added to the code for Q1. Let's go back to our presentation and talk about some second quarter deliverables. So we've been working on these since, the first part of the year. We have 3 big releases that are going to be coming out Q2. The first thing is an out-of-the-box launch portal auditing package. And what this is going to be is a combination of business objects auditing as well as launch portal auditing. For those attendees today who are actually on our Q3 of 2016 call, we talked about the enhanced auditing we're doing through the portal. We basically could quadruple the amount of auditing that we're doing in terms of access through the LaunchWorks portal. Historically, we could say, hey, who's logged in, what browser are they using, what tabs are they hitting in the portal. At this point now, we're auditing not only how they're accessing the system, who's accessing the system, but we're also tracking what reports they're running, what prompt values that they're adding and sending in. That really just gives a full scope view of how end users are using the system. If I have a list of 27 reports and only 15 of them are being utilized, what do I do with those 12 reports? Do I rewrite them? Do I deprecate them? It really just gives full visibility. As well as compliance issues, we have a couple customers with some very, very sensitive data. The ability to track what values the users are sending into the repository will help with any other kind of audit of, hey, has anybody incorrectly accessed data they shouldn't have? So we track all of that. You'll be provided with universes, reports, to where it's just a really out-of-the-box auditing system that combines LaunchWorks auditing and business object auditing together for just one suite of products. The next big thing is going to be our RapidStack for Higher Education platform. We are working with a couple universities now who are running the Banner system to just do all kinds of enhanced reporting applications and auditing as well. And then our other goal for Q2 will be 4.2 compatibility with business objects. This has been a long time coming. We have been working with 4.2 and SAP since it was in its beta release. For over a year, we've had a 4.2 server up, and we have been hardening the code, testing the code against current use cases, future use cases. So that, our next latest release will not only be 4.1 but 4.2 compatible. So as you guys upgrade, we will not be a pain point, and we'll be able to upgrade with you. I believe that's the end of what we have to present for today. Does anyone have any questions?
And you can submit questions through either chat or if you'd like, you just press *6 to unmute yourself and ask a question that way as well.
So I just got a question here that asks, is the Grid Viewer a separate application? The Grid Viewer is not a separate application. Like most of the other things in the launch portal, it is configurable. If there are people that do not want to use that Grid Viewer and really just need the stock HTML viewer that we have had in the past, either one can be configured. There's no separate licensing, there's no separate code or install. It's all native to their latest build. I believe I saw one more that popped on the screen. Okay.
Yeah, it was sorry, Chris. The other question was, what are the future plans for Salesforce integration?
We have multiple customers running Salesforce integration at this point. Every future build will still be Salesforce compatible. We do now actually have an application out on Salesforce, which is a kind of quick install report launch for Salesforce, which will combine SAP reports and business objects reports and Salesforce reports all in one through a Salesforce app. Or we are still fully embeddable in Salesforce in a multitude of ways, using multiple types of security. We can do individual report pieces on account tabs, or we can provide a full report list like the majority of our customers are doing. But everything that we're doing and everything that we're developing will always carry through to embedded applications such as Salesforce.
Yeah, and this is Bill. Sorry. Just to kind of add on that, we've had a lot of questions and interest regarding Salesforce integration, and I know that Kevin McManus is kind of looking at all kinds of different options, and we're listening to everyone's ideas on kind of what they want. So if you have things that you want to see, please reach out to us and let us know. The more feedback we get from current customers, prospective customers, the more information that we have to dedicate resources to that development. So, most of our products and features are all because of what a customer needed, and then we've developed it, tested it, and then we've rolled it out to the rest of our customers. So please feel free to give us any advice, any criticism, anything that you want to just help us know what you need and our customers need. So thanks.
There was one other question that came through the chat that asked if this was 3.1 compatible or is this backwards compatible. All our current and latest releases will be 3.1, 4.1, and 4.2 compatible moving forward. We don't deprecate any support for older versions. We do have a couple customers that are still running on 3.1. So each version that we test, we have multiple business objects installations in our labs environment in terms of versions, 3.1 versus 4.1, as well as service packs right for 4.1. So each of our latest builds will be fully compatible with 3.1, 4.1, and 4.2. Any other questions?
Okay. Well, thanks, Chris. Just to wrap up, the presentation today, there will be a recording of the webinar available shortly at launchworks.com/webinars. Again, our release notes are available at help.launchworks.com/support/solution. We don't have a date yet for our second quarter release webinar, but be on the lookout for that. We'll get that out to you here within the next week or two. And again, submit any questions, any feedback at help.launchworks.com. The feedback we get from customers is probably some of the most important information that we can get and we can use to make us better and help make our customers better.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Bill. Thank you everyone.
Thank you guys very much. And if you have any questions and want to reach out to me directly, you can email me at bill.stack@launchworks.com or call me at 210-668-5200. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.